And today I'm going to introduce a humble person, All India rank 120, 2020 attempt, Indian Police Service officer. And in order to elevate his position, again he wrote his main, and again he is going to attend his interview. Very happy for you, Chandrakanth Reddy.
Thank you, sir.
So we will start the session, Chandrakanth, and happy to have you here.
Thank you, sir.
So anyone, if you want any doubts, we will be taking doubts in the later session. So first, Chandrakanth Reddy, he will be explaining about his life and how the strategy should be there for the preparation and all. So Chandrakanth, can you please tell us about your struggle, your journey to crack 120 rank, as well as this time also clearing the mains and interview? Means your from your graduation level, from graduation, how you got motivated for civil services, what made you to sustain the energy to prepare for civil services, what is your motivation, that we want to know.
Yes, sir. Hello, all. My name is Chandrakanth Reddy. This time I secured All India rank 120 in CSC 2020. First of all, my journey towards civil service started during my fourth year of my college, where one of the senior who qualified in this exam had an interaction with us in my fourth year. So at that time, I decided to prepare for the civil service exam. And then for that, I skipped my campus placements also. So my journey started from 2018 exam onwards. So I completed my graduation in 2017. Since I was at 20 years at that time, I could not able to write CSC 2017. So I returned CSC 2018. In a brief, I till now I written 4 attempts, and I given 4 mains, 3 interviews. So this was my third interview. CSC 2021 is my third interview and fourth attempt. So in my first attempt itself, I went to the interview stage, but unable to succeed with 10 marks short to the final cutoff. And in second attempt, due to my low score in my optional subject, I could not able to get the call for the interview. And in my third attempt, I secured All India rank 120. This was my fourth attempt, and I am appearing in the interview. Yes, sir.
Yes, it's great. And one more question, what
Yes,
is
sir.
your optional and how you prepared your optional?
Sir, my optional subject is anthropology throughout my whole CSC journey. So initially, I prepared my optional through various books like Braintree, and then Nadeem Hassan series for social anthropology, tribal anthropology, and Indian anthropology, and then a Basu book for the biological anthropology. So these are the things I did in my first attempt. Although I scored good enough, but I could not clear the exam with just 10 marks short. And in my second attempt, my anthropology score drastically reduced to triple two marks. That's why I could not get the interview call by 20 marks short. So in my third attempt, somehow I managed. I changed my strategy in the optional uh, to do value addition, and then to go deep into the subject. This time I referred certain things from the Ember and Ember that helped me in that unconventional paper of CSC 2020. And in my fourth attempt, Vishnu sir guided me to write well. So I hope I written well. Let the marks come straight.
Sure. Yes. Thank you, Chandrakanth Reddy. I have two questions
Yes,
spontaneous, one after the other. Number one, uh, what is the role of optional in civil services preparation? And number two, what all factors we have to consider to take any subject as the optional?
sir. The I would say that optional is the soul of the civil service exam, because if one gets the low marks in optional, it is very unlikely that he or she will be selected in the exam. although there are 7 papers on paper, but the first 5 papers hardly makes 5-10 marks difference in each paper. But optional paper alone will make 20 to 25 marks in each paper. So when combined with 2 papers, it will give 50 marks edge when compared to the others. So if one is able to grasp the optional well, he will be easily succeeded in this exam. So the how to take the optional means, sir, there are certain criteria. If one wish to pursue the civil service exam in their during their graduation time, like first year, second year itself, they can very well see their own optional subjects. Like if they are from engineering background, they can see their own engineering subjects like mechanical or electronics. And then if they are able to solve the questions which are given in the UPSC, they can go ahead and take their subjects. If they are not able to solve their subjects, they have to look for the humanities. In the humanities subjects, I feel that anthropology is a mix of both humanity and science. So it has both scientific content and then the humanity content of which we will think and write. So it will have scoring aspect because of science, and it will have the other edge from the humanities. And the plus point for the option anthropology optional is the syllabus is very limited, and the optional is scoring. So the criteria to select the optional is first, individual interest is the paramount. Hello.
Yes, yes, please.
Individual interest in the subject is very important to select any optional. The second one is whether it is the syllabus is short and whether they can able to complete uh, they had to at least revise 1 or 2 times in the 5 days gap between the general studies and then the optional subject. If they can able to do that, then it is a good option. And the third thing is whether that optional is scoring or not. If these three criteria is uh, tick mark, and then they can able to take that option.
Yes. Yes. Uh, so basically, Chandrakant is telling that we need to have interest, number one, on the subject. It might be any engineering subject or anthropology, or any optional subject, you should have interest. Number two is you have to have exam score. So how it will be useful for your examination, whether you can score more marks or not. So these are all criteria. He explained thank you very much. And
Sir,
one,
and then I would like to add another point.
yes, please.
Sir, so many students are in the dilemma to take which optional post their graduation or while started preparation.
Yes.
So if they want to take like a optional, like for example, anthropology or geography or history, they can go through the syllabus for 1 or 2 times, and then they can see the basic reference books. They easily it will be available in the PDF format in the Google. Like after seeing the basic reference material, they would able to know that what this optional consists of, what kind of content they need to read, so that they can analyze their own perspective whether this optional will suit for me or not.
Very good. Yes, thank you very much. And one more question, Chandrakant.
Yes, sir.
Is really NCRTs are useful?
Sir, NCRTs are useful, sir, to certain extent. Like geography, we will completely prepare from the NCRT, sir. Like 11th, 12th, in 11th class, there are two NCRTs, 12th class, there are two NCRTs. So, combinedly, four NCRTs will suffice for the geography prelims preparation. And for mains preparation, we need to do certain Google search apart from the four NCRTs. And then when it comes to the science, basic science, we need to go through the basic science like physics, chemistry, and biology content from 6th to 10th. And other aspects like economy, if one is not comfortable in the economy or in the polity, by directly reading the uh, textbooks, standard textbooks like Lakshmikant, they can go to the NCRT, and in NCRT they will explain in a crisp format and with a lot of examples, so they can understand very easily and they can build their foundation very strong. and some other aspects like uh, if you go to the Indian art, I think it is class 11th NCERT of history. If we go through that book, there are maximum questions are picked up from that textbook in the art and culture section of UPSC. So I feel that NCERTs are relevant, and we need to pick which chapters are important in the NCERT.
Yes. And if anyone like BTech graduate, engineering student, what is the best time to start the preparation?
So, I feel that if everything is comfortable, they can start immediately after their graduation. Because after doing a certain job or certain things for 2 to 3 years, they are wasting the 2 to 3 years because ultimately their wish is to come towards the civil services. So I feel that they can start immediately after the graduation.
Uh,
During the BTech, if they decided to give the civil service examination, they can very well start their preparation during the degree itself, and they can pick their right optional which suit to them, and then they can prepare on their optional because hello.
yes, yes, please.
Because general studies content will vary from year to year, but the optional content is standard. From past 30, 40 years, the optional content is standard. So they can, during their graduation, they can pick their optional and they can study for their optional.
Yes. This is my personal question.
Yes, sir.
My personal question is, see, sustaining the momentum in this long journey. Yes, it's tough examination. You have to accept. I have to accept in this tough examination. You got the success. It's 100%. It's because of your hard work. It's because of your parents' blessings. Everything. So, how you sustained the motivation? How you studied hard? How many hours you studied daily? Please, our
Sir,
students want
hard,
to report it.
yes, sir, hardly 6 to 7 hours, sir.
Okay.
Mostly, sir, there are certain times for this exam which we need to study more. The times are before the prelims and in between prelims and mains. Post mains, most of the time we no need to study except for interview. For interview also, mostly we need to work on personality development and other aspects of the job rather than studying. So before prelims and prelims to mains are the crucial times where we need to study. On an average, I'm saying 6 to 7 hours, sir. But some days will be there, like just before the 1 week before the mains, where we need to study for 10 to 12 hours also. This was the thing, and how to sustain the motivation is, sir. First, we need to have the confidence that I can clear this exam and I can write whichever the question UPSC might ask. I can write with minimum content. If I don't have the any like proper answer, also I can write with minimum content. For that, we need to have a decent enough preparation on all the aspects which are mentioned in the syllabus. Through this only we can get our own motivation. Sir.
Yes. Three questions I have. Number one,
Yes, sir.
how one should prepare for prelims.
Okay, sir.
After that, how one should prepare for mains. How one should prepare for interview.
Okay. So the first aspect, how one should prepare for prelims. Sir, in my 4 attempts, my prelim scores were very high. Like I cleared forest cutoffs in all my 4 attempts. So
If anyone doesn't know about the forest cutoff will be somewhere around 120 marks out of 200. It is a very Herculean task. So Chandrakanth has been crossed forest service cutoff. It's a great thing. Yes, please.
sir, for the preparation of prelims, uh, preparing the aspect is on one side, and then how to deal the exam during the exam hours is the other aspect. Sir. First, for preparing the things, uh, one need to read the standard textbooks along with NCERTs for every subject. I think everyone has known the standard textbooks for every subject. And the second aspect is After reading the textbooks, the people, most of the people will fail on the thing like that they won't write the decent enough test for that subject. Suppose if a person had read the polity from Lakshmikant, he or she need to give at least 4 to 5 tests on the polity itself, covering the entire syllabus of polity. So he can analyze his preparation, how his preparation is going on what aspects he is going wrong, and he need to study the solution very detailed, even though he kept correct. Because sometimes people will keep correct based on their intuition and based on the elimination also. So the every question of the 4 to 5 papers they need to go through. In that way, the each and every subject will be covered comprehensively. After covering the these each and every subject comprehensively, they need to go for full length test. In the full length test also, they had to they had to solve the paper very strictly, and they need to analyze their mistakes. After these things, these things has to be completed before 10 days of the exam. In that 10 days they need to revise the papers what they had done, like in which of the questions they had marked wrong. These things they had to do. And the second aspect is most of the students will fear on the current affairs. Like the easiest thing to do for the current affairs is daily reading of a newspaper, or daily listening to the news is the easiest task. Like at least half an hour or 20 minutes a day will give you much content than reading some monthly magazines. This will help them to analyze the content in their own way and to write good answers in the mains also. This will help. And then to make our task easy, at the final, like before the prelims, just before the prelims, some 5 days to 7 days back, 7 days before prelims, uh, the compilations of the entire year will be out. In that compilations, one can go through the important biodiversity sites and important national parks in news, and the animals in news, like whichever they need to remember, and they will feel that these questions will be asked in the exam. So this is the preparation aspect, sir. And the second aspect is how to deal the exam in the examination hall. So I seen that most of the people will fear during the examination hall. The thing is, they need to decide before the exam itself which strategy is good for them. Either if some people will be like that, they can attempt 80 questions and they can make 70 or 75 correct. And some people will be like that, they will attempt 95 to 100 questions and they can make 75 correct. So, which either they are betting on the accuracy, or they are betting on maximum questions. They need to decide before the exam itself. This will get by solving more number of tests, they can get to know on which thing they are betting. So on the day of the exam, they need to be very sure on which thing they are doing. During the examination hall, they need to use their presence of mind during the exam. So because of most of the questions which we are read won't come in the exam. So the presence of mind is useful. In the examination hall also, they need to pick two subjects very clearly. Like for me, in all my 4 attempts, I was very good at polity and economics. Like 95% of the questions which were asked in the UPSC prelims, I written I made it correct. So they can choose any two subjects, which makes around 30 to 35 questions. So in these 30 to 35 questions, if they make 90 to 95% correct, half of their job is done. And the presence of mind means, I can say an example that in the CSC 2020 paper, they asked some term called Kulyavapa Dronavapa. Like, what do you mean by Kulyavapa and Dronavapa? In the options they given, it is a measurement of urban land something, and in the other option they given, it is the measurement of the land. So if we analyze, the presence of mind means In the ancient India, there is no concept like urbanization or urbanism. So directly we can eliminate the urban land, that urban term in the option, and then we can directly tick the other term that it is the measurement of the land. So these type of presence of mind can help to get some 5 to 10 questions extra. And some tricks, people will say that this is steadily rising, steadily decreasing, are mostly wrong. These tricks also can help you to a certain extent.
Yes. And how about mains, essay preparation, mains preparation?
Yes, sir. When coming to the mains, there are 7 papers. In the first essay paper, uh, they need to, nowadays UPSC is becoming unconventional and they are asking philosophical topics mostly. In the philosophy, previously, the standard essays they can prepare, they can prepare a notes of 1 to 2 page for most topics like women, health, education, and then clean India, then like Indian economy, how the Indian governance system is, and how the India security, climate change, and its issues. On these things, they can prepare a 1 to 2 page notes, and then for every topic, they can prepare some 2 to 3 quotations and or anecdotes for that. This is the conventional preparation for the essay. But UPSC is asking on philosophical topics. In the philosophical topics, how they can address is the first in the introduction part, they can either define the term which is there in the philosophical topic, or they can start with an anecdote with reference to the meaning of the topic given in the essay. So after this thing, they need to explain the terms which are there in the uh, essay. Then they need to explore the multiple dimensions. If the question is on joy is the simplest form of gratitude, something like that. If they ask like that, we can say that what is joy, what is gratitude, and then we can go on uh, is the joy is simplest form of gratitude. Then why is the joy simplest form of gratitude? Is there any other thing which is similar to the joy and the simplest form of gratitude? So, why the people are lacking in joy, and why the people are not showing their gratitude towards others, and what can be done to improve upon the joyfulness in the present day society? Like this, they can explore many dimensions and they can write an answer. Sir. The content for this can be grasped, can be taken from our conventional material, which we study for general studies and which we prepared for essay topics. These things like this, they can approach the philosophical essay. And the second topic is second one is the GS paper one. In GS paper one, there are 3 topics. One is history, geography, and society. In the history part, the most of the questions is coming from 2 topics: modern history and art and culture section. So one can, if they are lacking in time, they can leave the old history part, and then the second part is post independence consolidation. So in the history part, they can give an introduction how on the timeline basis, on like if they ask on the question on non-cooperation movement, you can start with the question answer like a non-cooperation movement was started on the eve of this, like why the non-cooperation movement has started and on which date or which time and which year it was started. Then you can approach the reasons for whatever they asked in the question, and in the concluding para you can forecast the things like what happened due to the non-cooperation in the future timeline. Like this, we can frame an answer for in the history. Also, we can make certain diagrams for temple architecture, Buddhist stupas, and then we can make India map. India map for certain things there is a fragmented polity during the 1757 or 1707 after the Mughal rule. So how the fragmented polity appeared in India. Like we can draw an India map and what are the constituent kingdoms in that India. Like that, we can make a map. And when it comes to the society, we can go we can start with an big the definition like what is globalization, what is urbanization. The standard definition we can start and we can directly write whatever they ask in the question, and in the concluding para we can write an answer that uh, the SDG goals we can mention, and then we can mention the constitution articles. These type of things we can do. In geography, the most important thing is the India map or the diagrams associated with the concerned question. And most of the things are in geography are technical in nature, except for human geography. So the technical aspects has to be replicated in the answer rather than a layman answer. If you write the technical aspects, you will get half mark or 1 mark extra. And in the human geography also, there are certain things which one needs to give more importance. Like in human geography, one needs to give importance to the soils, natural vegetation, and then livelihood activity, rather than on the mere economic terms or political terms. These things will help to get more marks in the GS paper answer. When it comes to GS paper 2, there are certain things like polity, governance, and international relations. For the polity, the standard textbook Lakshmikant is suffice, and we need to add certain analysis apart from the Lakshmikant, like in anti-defection law, why the anti-defection law is failing in India, what are the reasons, and what can be the improvements done to the anti-defection law. These type of improvements we can analyze or we can get it from any coaching institute. And the second thing, sir, in the polity, we need to write the constitutional articles and then Supreme Court judgments, and then some United Nations human rights rules and all. If we mention, we can get the good marks when compared to the others. And in polity, we can directly mention the names of the judges also. Like if certain judge, for example, Hindu Malhotra has given the judgment in the Sabarimala issue, so you can quote the judge name also. This shows you sound knowledge on the polity aspects. And then in the governance aspects, there are mostly they will ask on the either the success of the certain scheme or the lapses, why the government is not able to provided as it wished while analyzing the scheme. So we have to analyze like why the government is not able to deliver to its fullest extent. For most of the things, the answer looks the similar, but if we give the examples, it will make specific. And for international relations, we need to give the answer in a multidimensional perspective, like from the economic angle, political angle, and then historical connect between the two states, and what are the issues between the two states. Like this, we need to explore the answer in a multidimensional perspective. And here we can make a maps like Indo-Pacific region, Malacca Strait. These things we can highlight on the map also. This will add more advantage to our answers. And in GS paper 3, in the economy section, one can start with the hardcore facts like in India, the unemployment rate is this much, India's economy is growing this much. So directly statistics will be used in the introduction section, and then in the body part, they can approach the answer whatever they asked in the question, and in finally in the conclusion part, they can uh, give the reference to the government schemes like Make in India and then PLI scheme and $5 trillion economy. These things they can project in the conclusion part. And the next thing is science and technology section. In the science and technology section, most of the questions will come from the latest technologies, how quantum computing is useful in the present generation. What are the conditions required for the quantum computing? Why India is not able to approach to its fullest extent in quantum computing? So one needs to aware on the latest technologies and needs to write a decent enough answer. For this, most of the applications of the technologies are similar. The applications can be used in the governance, while conducting elections and limiting the bank frauds, and then while to reduce the climate change aspect. Most of the technologies benefits are similar, but there are certain things in quantum computing, we need to write quantum entanglement, quantum superposition principles. If we project these principles, our answer looks different. Similarly, what the government of India is doing to improving the technologies, for example, in big data analytics, like these things, we can write the scheme name which we are focusing. And the other important aspect in science and technology is women in S&T. Our the ratio of the women who are participating in S&T is very less. So what is the reason for it? What can we do for improving it? And then government of India, some scheme called the BioCare and then Kiran. These schemes are relevant to the women to for attraction of the women towards S&T. So we can mention these things. And the other aspect in S&T section is there are a certain recently in CSC 2021 they asked about S-400 missile. So whichever the defense news are in new are in traditionally in news, we can refer to those snippets and then we can go through what is going on in the S&T. This will be useful. And some brief about the scientists who are important scientists like Ramanujan. These scientists, C.V. Raman, the important scientists can be known because sometimes they will ask short notes on scientists. When it comes to the environment section, they can go through most of the things in environment are dealing with pollution aspects and conservation aspects. Environmental degradation and conservation, and the other aspect is environment impact assessment. Whichever the year environment impact assessment is in use, definitely the question is coming on environment impact assessment. And the second thing is in terms of conservation, they are asking what are the government of India schemes and briefly elaborate on these schemes. Recently, they asked about National Clean Air Program. So, like that, whichever the scheme which is mostly in use, they are directly picking and they are asking on in the exam briefly write about that scheme. And in terms of security in the security section, one needs to make a notes for the security section, for example, cyber security. What is the cyber security? Then what are the data about cyber security? How many incidents are happening in India in cyber security? Then why the India is prone to cyber security? Then what are the how we can reduce the challenges to cyber security? Then government of India steps to reduce the challenges of cyber security. Then way forward like this for every section they can prepare in the defense like security section of GS3. When it comes to the GS4 in ethics section, mostly one needs to prepare the definition of the each and every term mentioned in the syllabus with two examples. This will be sufficient to write a decent ton of ethics answer. And then in case study section of the ethics, one needs to write whatever they asked in the question very thoroughly. If the time permits, they can draw the diagram for the stakeholders and then they can give a brief introduction. But if time doesn't permit, they need to at least answer the whatever they asked in the question.
It was a very elaborate and patient answer, Chandrakanth. I appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
Really, it's very elaborate. Very lucky you are. You got very good insights. Usually, this much elaborate The rankers will not discuss. Thank you for the aspirants here.
Thank you.
Thank you for the Chandrakanth from aspirant's point of view. Yes, anyone have any doubts, you can directly ask the question to Chandrakanth Reddy. So anyone have any specific questions, please? So Chandrakanth, last 75 days are there approximately for the prelims 2022.
Yes,
Quickly, can you tell me how they have to focus?
Sir, I think most of the students have read the basic content for the prelims. So that basic content will be sufficient to clear the prelims, sir. Most of the students will fear that I need to read more because UPSC is unconventional. They will ask more content like that. First of all, they need to have the confidence that they can clear the exam. First point. And the second point is in these 75 days, they need to give more number of tests, such as 30 tests, 40 tests in these 75 days, so that they can see their like performance. Is their performance day to day increasing, and how it is increasing, and in which topics they were making mistakes, and how they need to rectify those mistakes. And just before the prelims, they need to go through the important things which are in news, such as I said, biodiversity sites, national parks. These things they need to remember for sure, sir, just before the prelims. If they read now, also they will forget easily.
So revision, quick revision.
Quick revision. And then whatever the papers they are doing, they need to revise at least 2 times. That is the thing.
What is your take on making current affairs notes? If yes, how to make a current affair notes?
Sir, current affair notes, if anyone wishes to make, I will say that, sir, most of the current affair notes, it will be useful for mains, sir. I feel so, sir, because mains is analytical in approach. So if something is in news, like Ukraine-Russia war is in news, so it is happening from past 1 to 1.5 months. So if they make notes of Ukraine Russia war, and then mostly UPSC will ask what is the impact on India as well as on the global world, and how it will impact the bilateral relations of India USA and India Russia. These are the certain aspects which UPSC will ask. Then they can make Ukraine Russia war, and then India Russia relations. They can make a subheading, and they can write some 5 to 6 points, sir. And India, USA, they can make 5 to 6 points. Like these things, they will get to know daily when they read the newspaper. They will get to know one point daily, sir. Recently, this India India had an agreement to buy the crude oil with Russia, like at a discounted price. So this point had known recently, not at the beginning of the war. So they can make a 2 page notes, like 2 to 3 page empty for this issue, and they can make notes whichever the point, just the side heading of that important point. In mains, we don't have any space to elaborate on the point, so just if we remember the important point, we can write a decent answer, sir. For prelims, I will say that, sir, mostly the current affairs, anyways, the institutes are providing, sir, if they want to read current affairs exclusively. So I feel that institute material is sufficient, sir, for prelims.
There is a question from Beluha. Sir, means Chandrakanth, the question is for you. Chandrakanth, sir, from when should we start taking mock tests or test series for prelims? So one common question is there.
Yes, sir.
Is how many tests one should take before prelims examination? How many mock tests? And parallelly, how they have to do the revision? These are the two questions.
Yes, sir. Sir, this thing will be based on, I will divide it into two categories, sir. One category is those who didn't given prelims till now, and then those who given prelims but they failed. And the other category is those who had given prelims and succeeded in the prelims, and got and they have the enough confidence to clear the prelims. So in the first category, I will say that they need to give at least 30 to 40 tests. And then they can start like today is 23rd. They can do the revision, like they can revise the whole seven subjects. I think in prelims they can do the revision of 7 subjects before March 31st. So they will have 2 complete months. One is the April and one is May. So they can start from April 1st onwards. Daily one test, and morning solving the question paper, and afternoon or evening revising the thing whichever they done. If they found mistake, then and there itself they can make a notes, and then they can go to the standard textbook wherever that question had come from, and they can underline or tick that thing in the standard textbook, so they can remember that thing whenever they see the textbook. Uh, in this way, they can revise daily. So if they done 30 to 40 tests for starting from April 1st, it will take around May 10 or May 12. Post that, they can see they can see what they had made the notes. In these 30-40 tests, they had made certain notes. They can revise that notes, and then they had ticked something in the standard textbook. They can revise that, and post that they can glimpse through the papers, certain questions which they are in doubt, they can glimpse, and this will take around May 20, May 22. In the last 10 to 15 days, they can go through the current affairs, sir. If they didn't, like those who are reading newspaper daily, it will be very much beneficial for them to revise the current affairs. Those who are not reading, they need to go through somewhat rigorously in these last 10 to 15 days for the current affairs.
Yes. If I add what I will do,
Yes, sir.
morning one question paper you do, evening you do reverse engineering. That 100 MCQs once again you read. So daily one paper you do, and rest of the time you do revision. In
Yes,
that
sir.
way, you do know by May 15th it will be all right. As Chandrakanth rightly said, from May 15th onwards, sit for current affairs revision and the revision of all the papers which you did earlier.
Yes, sir. That is the thing. And in the second category, those who are having enough confidence in clearing the prelims, for them, they can do the like a hardly 10 tests, 5 to 10 tests for them is sufficient. They can directly take the full length papers.
So, thank you, Chandrakanth, from students
Thank
community.
you, sir.
From my side, really great insights you gave. How to prepare for prelims, how to prepare for mains, what should be the approach for interview, as well as when we have to start the preparation, and mainly for the prelims goers 2022. I think you got a very good points. These are the takeaways. Thank you.
Yes,
God
sir.
bless you, Chandrakanth.
Thank you, sir.